Hey friends, it's me, the Ebony Otaku, the well-rounded nerd, and today is painting day. I am going to put on my apron because I don't want paint on the shirt. I'm a pretty neat painter overall. I don't typically get mess on my clothes, but still, precautions are worth it. The dog is laying in the floor in the hallway because our hallway areas are hardwood. So he's cooling off because we're in the south and it's 100. What can I tell you? All right, so I hope y'all are enjoying the new camera setup that I have. I'm kind of really enjoying being able to do a project while talking, like doing my hobbies in real time. So let's talk about these ladies here. These are my novitiates. Um, I we all know that she's a space marine girly. And actually, let me not give y'all bad information about the novitiates. Let me read to you exactly who they are before I misstep and somebody has a freak out. Well, because well, I mean, for the algorithm, go ahead, freak out in the comments. Novitiates Warhammer. All right, so the novitiate are the novitiate militant. You gotta say militant because they're female. Battle sisters in training, yet to earn their power armor and bolt guns. Nonetheless, they are zealous warriors. They're on the path to become Adepta Sororita, the sister sorority to the Space Marines of Battle Sisters. Where the novitiates and the sororita are very different from the Space Marines is they are human. It's the best way I could say that. Um, no, it's the only way I can say it. So the process of becoming a space marine is the worst. They take children, young boys, and on all of the planets that are the originating planets for the Primarchs themselves from when they were scattered from Terra, from wherever they can get them, honestly, but mostly from their own planets, if their planets still have populations, and conquered planets in the name of those Primarchs. They take young boys from their families. Um, One day you're out playing, and the next day you're on a ship. The grim dark future. What can I say? Um, but they put them through a whole bunch of trials, physically, mentally, spiritually. Make sure that they are loyal to the empire. At the ripe old age of 7. Make sure that they have what it takes to withstand the transformation into a space marine, because you're going to be implanted with a gene seed, um, which will grow you into a space marine. So, and there's going to be a whole lot of biomechanical implantation as well. Another heart, more lungs. You're going to get taller. It's a whole thing. Um, and then of course they have to make sure that they can handle the mental stress of being a space marine as well, because you're going to be out doing the most in the name of the empire, and they need ones that aren't going to crack. And then 40k, not 30k, 40k, which the Novitia are a 40k force. This is a kill team to member force. um in the 40k world, they do make use of things like psychers and things like that, which are not a thing in 30k, unless you're on the chaos side. On the loyalist side, in the 30k lore, the emperor is still around, and he's like, y'all don't touch psychic stuff. In 40k, the emperor is, entombed on the golden throne. And it's his psychic energy that keeps open the path through. It keeps open the Astronomicon to the webway so that people can travel through. Um, where are my words today? Uh, Through the warp safely. So it's a lot to be a space marine. So some of the space marines are going to be psychic, some are going to be medicae, some are going to be foot soldiers, whatever. Some are going to end up being great warriors. A lot of them are just going to be, run of the mill, run of day soldiers. Nothing wrong with that. Everyone needs a purpose. But the novitiates don't go through their indoctrination the same way. Loyalty, of course, is key. You will see a lot of similarities in their order to the way you might describe like a nunnery order, like in Catholicism or Buddhism, because they are being brought into a sisterhood order, but they are not going to go through the bio changes that the Space Marines do. They are human. And you'll notice that they are wearing armor, but it is not power armor. Um, because this is not a force I'm as familiar with, I know more about the Sororita than the Novitiate. The Novitiate, again, are on their way to becoming Sororita. The Sororita do wear power armor. It's nothing like what the Space Marines wear, but they are unaugmented. They are protected, but they're not augmented. That's the big difference. The Space Marines are augmented, like they don't just have a computer; they plugged into it. They can drink acid. Some of them can walk on suns. Like it's a whole thing. But you'll notice that even though they're wearing armor, it's not super bulky or anything. Their weapons tend to be more melee focused because they're getting stronger. When I initially built these ladies, I really couldn't think of a paint scheme because I don't know much about the lore. So I was just like, I don't know what color they're supposed to be. Like Emperor's Children, one of the reasons I like doing Emperor's Children is it's the Emperor's Children. They can be whatever color you want them to be because they're just out being fabulous, and I love it. I mean, pink and purple and gold are the main colors. Purple and gold, really. But there is a fulgrim pink. It's a canon color. I have it, several of them. But, with these ladies, I didn't really go digging too deep into novitiate lore because I didn't want to be influenced by somebody else's paint job. I started with the capes on them. And what I did with these was a technique called slap chop, where you build up from black all the way up to white with different dry brushing layers. And then you come in with speed paints or contrast paints to put in your color. So the color that I used for their capes is Bile Red. So that is a Citadel contrast. And it just flowed so nicely. So what you can see here, I'll hold one of them up, is so because I built them up from black up to white, so you start with your black base coat or primer, and then primer then base coat, and then you mix that black with a white to get the next shade up, and then the next shade up, and you dry brush it on, and the very last top peaks of the color, which you can kind of still see. Most of this I've washed. Oh, I have not done her big jetpack yet. So you can see here in the crevices. Ooh, turn the other way. Come on, girl. I'm still getting used to using this kind of camera setup. Um, but you can see here that, like, in certain areas, you see natural lights and darks. That is from the paint, the buildup. And I did build up in ink instead of paint to make it a little bit thinner so I wouldn't lose any detail. And I have a set of Space Marines I've done that way as well, a command squad. But as you build up with the dry brushing, the very deepest recesses will stay black. The next level of recesses get that blackish gray, and then you've got grays, and you've got gray white, white, and then up to titanium white, and the highest peaks get to be titanium white. So you go with a little bit lighter hand every single shade up. So then what you do is you come in with your contrast paint on top of that, and the contrast paints are thinned down. You can thin them down even more if you want, but what happens is that contrast plate flows on the darkest dark to the lightest light, and there's automatically shadow under it. So for those of us who aren't good at making the shadows happen, like I've tried to learn wet blending. I've gotten better at wet blending, but I'm not great at it. I know somebody who's really good at it. But as you're learning different techniques, I have found for stuff like this, the slap chop works really well for me. Some people call it speed painting. Um, Army Painter makes really good speed paints. I bought for Christmas this past year. I bought my husband the entire set of Army Painter speed paints, and he took his 3D printer and printed out a thing on the wall that holds them. So yeah, it's a thing. So I'm in the process of continuing on these ladies. You'll notice that their armor is pretty much there. They will get some final washes, like the gold is going to get, not that. Here it is. The Nuln will, the golden colors will get some Agrax Earthshade, and the weapons will get some Nuln oil on them. But where I'm at now are accessories and weapons. So that's what I'm going to be working on today. So we're going to do them one at a time. So I have a little tray over here that I printed out. And this just keeps me organized as I move things from one spot to another. Um, but as I started coming up with the paint scheme for these ladies, since I really wasn't taking inspiration from elsewhere's, I've ended up with a very Wonder Woman look. But I think it's appropriate for the novitiate to have a Wonder Woman look. So, I'm here for it. So I always like to do testing on models before I commit to a look. And there were several tests on these. So you'll notice a couple of these ladies have a little bit different shade of blue on them to the others. That's because I hadn't figured out which blue I wanted. But hey, she looks great, so it's fine. But this one, we are now going to start looking at the weapons stuff. So she's got like a pouch here on her side. She's got a grenade. She's wearing a belt. She's got this great little auto knife gun chainsaw thing. And she's got a little auspex on her shoulder. So yeah, it's it's important. She's got her little sigil in her hand. So these are important things to make sure they are painted correctly. So I'm actually going to take some air paint first. This is an airbrush Citadel paint. I'm going to set it on the shaker for a second, make sure it's good and mixed. Shaker sitting on top of my air compressor. Can you tell I'm in my husband's office? Doesn't look like my office, does it? All right, so open this guy up. The reason I'm doing this is some of the air paints can behave decently like the contrast paints. But when I make things gold, I really want them to be gold. Let's see here. I need some brushes, and I think these brushes are in here. Oops, I didn't think this through. Yep, there they are. The brushes I want are in a spot that is inconvenient to the camera. I'll put the camera back in a second. Sorry about that. Shame on me. Whoop. Uh-oh. What have I done? There it is. Haha. Put it back. I'll have to remember that for future filming. Hey, I'm new at this two-camera thing. Work with me. So I have been using this brush. This is a 0. I typically use a 0 or 1 when I start using detail. Unless I'm painting eyeballs, I try not to use the thinnest of brushes. I was at first, but as I've taken painting classes and as I have experienced more, I've learned, as long as the tip of the brush is good, that's what you need. And I've also learned not to be too stingy in loading up my paint, because when you're too stingy with the paint, it won't spread properly. Like it, and the first set of models that I painted, I was far too scared about the amount of paint I put on the brush, about using a brush that was too big. But you've got to work on having that steady hand more than getting a smaller and smaller and smaller brush. Small brushes have a purpose, um, but what this does is ensures I have the right amount of paint on my brush, and I actually don't have to make as many strokes because the brush tip's a little wider. Now, if I'm doing something like eyeballs, yeah, I need the itty bitty brush for that, small tip. Um, but for something like this, I have learned to use 0 and 1 brushes, which I'm pretty happy with myself about. You know, one of the studios here in town, there's a lot of painting studios where I live, but one of the studios here in town is called Stiff Neck Studio. um, yeah, I can only paint for so long. So people who do this professionally, good on you. But I mean, everybody can't do my job either. My day job involves being at a computer all day, and a lot of people would never want to do that. So we're all made to do something. Somebody asked me once if I took commissions. I was like, commission who? Have y'all? I paint okay. I am not a great painter. I'm a okay painter. I'm a good aerial combat player. I'm an okay 30K player. Like, if you want a knockdown, drag out game that just goes perfectly, don't play me. Play checkers. All right, so just painted her little sigil she's holding in her hand gold. I like that a lot. Now I'm looking to see if there's anything else on her that needs to be golded out. I've got 3 different kinds of gold on her, um, just to provide some contrasting in the gold. I didn't want it to all be the same. The gold of their armor is actually from Army Painter. That one's not a Citadel. They had a what do they call them oh, they're called speed paint. I'm looking at the sign right now on the rack. And their speed paints, they had a really good gold, and I used that for their armor. And I'm pretty happy with it, honestly. So what I do is I just go one by one to see that I've gotten that color where I want it on each model. So I'm looking for the sigils on each of them and getting them painted. So it's steady hand work. And it's a lot to learn all of these techniques. I have been on my painting journey now for about 2 years, painting and building, and I have learned a lot. I'm very fortunate that I do live in an area that is very white collar nerd friendly. I have a situation a lot of people don't have. We live in a very unique town when it comes to that. So there have been lots of places for me to go learn, but I have intentionally done things to help me learn how to be a better painter. My next big task is learning how to be a better player. Because when people play the game with me, I want to give them an equally good experience. I want to be as good at 30K as I am at the aerial games. Like I'm so good at aerial games that you can introduce me to one, and as soon as I pick up the rules, like in 20 or 30 minutes, I'll win. Um, but that is specific to aerial games, nothing else. Actually, the first few times I played Catan, I won. This year for our SCA Christmas party, I am doing a custom 3D printed 3D Catan set. We do Dirty Santa every year. Some people call them White Elephant parties, but that's what I'm going to be making for those parties. So I'm super excited. What does this gold look like on top of here? I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, that's looking good. Just looking her over to see if anything else needs this. Now I am going to take some of this gold and dry brush it. I was about to do the individual painting, but I don't think that's how I want to do that. I think I want to dry brush gold here and give more of an impression of gold and just make it golded out. And then I'm going to put another fill color on top of this yellow here. So that's two of these. Let's see who else needs their sigils painted. I was kind of like, am I going to do multiple shades of gold or find others? And as I'm looking, one of the reasons I go pretty slow is to see where I may have missed. Like some of these ladies on like the blue wash on their pants, I'm noticing need to touch up, so I'll grab that blue here in a second and make sure I have their headdresses and their pants painted exactly the way that I want them. And that's one of the things I like about the contrast method. It's very forgiving. So if you get something incorrect, you can fix it. And they've got these like zipper areas on their chest. I haven't decided if I'm going to try to individually paint those, like do edge highlighting, or if I'm going to try to dry brush highlight it. It's a pretty small space, so I'm not sure I can get the dry brush in there to do what I want, but we'll see. But as I continue to improve my channel, and do videos in new and different ways, your feedback is always welcome. Look at there's her sigil. I already painted it gold, but I want to put a little of this on it. I feel very lucky that our community is pretty positive. If you're looking for some positive reinforcement as you do your projects, come on over to the Discord. I'll leave a link to it in the description. I'm going to do better about leaving a link to my Discord. Um, everyone so far on our Discord, we share our hobbies, everything from Transformers and anime to, of course, Warhammer, general miniature painting, music. Because what's my tagline? Well-rounded nerd. We like all the hobbies. We do not discriminate on hobbies on this channel. We like all the hobbies all the time. See, I did like a dull gold on this one, and I might keep that and just wait for the. Nope, I lied. Nope, nope, nope. Let me not even pretend I'm going to do that. But we have a good community, and everyone who's joined the Discord so far has been super great, and I appreciate you keeping our community great. I also, I manage the SCA for. I don't manage the SCA. I manage the social media for my local SCA chapter. Because I'm chronically online anyway. I'm chronically positively online. I don't get online and do a bunch of mess because I'm not trying to live life on hard mode. But because of that, um, I do make sure I am monitoring things. And, if I see things that are not uplifting or not in the best interest of the community, I try not to let things linger in a way that could create consternation. I'm on top of things. But I appreciate y'all because y'all give me very little to have to police that way. And I appreciate you. And that's down to having a positive community full of positive people who just want to share their hobbies together. Like, could not be better. I could not ask for a better community. All of y'all are fantastic. Next week on Warhammer Wednesday, I'm going to continue Warhammer 101 while I'm painting stuff for Adepticon. NashCon. Everything's not about Adepticon. We have like 5 big events between now and next year's Adepticon. All these techniques I'm practicing are so I can build up to entering Golden Demon for the first time. I don't think I'm a Golden Demon level painter, but I would like the experience and I would like the feedback of professionals. I've done one painting competition, and from what I understand, it was actually a little bit of a debate as to whether or not I should place. The models that I painted, I did do them in skin tones similar to my own. Because I was painting 3 models. One, my husband got them for me from a really great sculptor that we actually pay to be subscribed to her Patreon. And he knows that I don't have it off the top of my head, but she just does great fantasy sculpts. And there was one who was like a girl in the library reading a book, another one, a girl like out in the meadow holding a basket. She has like a big hat on, and another one that's like a barbarian. I was like, oh, these are like the 3 phases of me. So that's what I did. And I worked so hard on the skin tone and contrasting and all of that. Like I labored over them, labored. Um, but the way that that room was lit, I don't think they could see the detail. It was kind of dark. And one of the judges, 2 of the judges actually said that I should have placed, but there was a holdout, so I didn't. But that makes me feel good that I came close to placing. But if you've ever been to the big painting competitions, they are very well lit. So I'm pretty sure that I will have my work seen well. I did run down to the Golden Demon area on one of my shorts when I was doing some filming at Adepticon this year, and it's their glass cases. There's lights all around. Like, there is beautifully lit as beautifully lit can be. So they'll see every nook, every cranny. So this time, if I lose, and I will, it'll be all me. I don't mind losing as long as I earned it. I'm not one of those people who's like, "Hey, God, I lost. Make a big deal about it." No one's gonna win everything, but I would love more feedback from professional painters. It was funny though, because with that competition, the one that voted against me actually came up to me afterward and he said, "You were close, but you just needed to get that the highlights. We couldn't see any contrast in the skin." And then literally I took the model and like walked it out to another part of the building where there was more light. I could see it in his eyes. I didn't say anything. I'm not a jerk. I wanted to, but I didn't. I didn't. She's carrying like a piece of parchment. So I have another novitiate box. I'm really going ham on these. She has like a piece of parchment in her hand and this little thing coming up out the ground. Can't get my directions right. It's got like this little tassel on. I think I'm gonna paint that gold because that feels like it should be gold. You know what? The Emperor's Children have infected everything I do. I was scrolling on the Book of Face, and there's a company that has put out mirror sheen metallics. Look, she's a loyal Turbo Dork girly. Loyal. If I ever get a sponsorship, that's the one I want. Because I got every paint, and they would have to give me money. You can just pay me in paint. I already have every paint color they offer. I went by the Turbo Dork booth at Adepticon. I was like, "Oh, are there new colors?" And they said no, and I was like, "I have them all. Some of them too." But um, those mirror shine metallics, I was like, because I'm doing some rhinos. I need some more transport for my Emperor's Children. And I was like, mirror sheen rhinos? Anywho, look, we all have a hobby, and this is one of mine. I was actually talking to someone yesterday because I live in a nerd house. Everyone's a dork. Daughter plays Magic and plays video games. Son does everything. Actually, Warhammer is not really his bag, but he plays because we play, and I play Magic because my family plays. But they got me with the Warhammer decks, and I have all four Warhammer Magic decks. They were a Christmas present from my husband and son when we got married. So they're so great. Um, I don't have as much done on her because she's their captain, and I've really got to make her look beautiful. Um, but I was talking to someone the other day, and they said that, and they were just asking about me and my husband, and I told them, I was like, yeah, me and my husband probably have about 80% of our hobbies in common. And they said that that was a real blessing and honestly kind of unusual because most couples don't end up having quite that much in common. A lot of was the saying opposites attract. I think we started saying that so that when people weren't like us, we wouldn't feel bad about it. Um, I can say that I do. I've had boyfriends before I met my husband, and I've actually been married once before. Um, those guys. My first husband, I will say we were a lot alike, but not in all the ways that mattered. I'll say that. Um, hobby wise, we were a lot alike, but like philosophy and approach to life wise, we were not that good. Um, that's bad. Which, not saying there's anything wrong with his way of life or mine, just different than. Different than doesn't mean worse or better, just means different. Um, so, that didn't work. Plus, we were kids. We were 18 when we got married. It wasn't going to work. But, at this stage of my life, there's like a fleur de lis on the back of here that I'm painting. At this stage of my life and meeting such a good man, I realize, it is very rare for people our age to meet someone who you out the door have so much in common with. Like, he did not drag me into Warhammer. I drug him into 30K. He drugged me into 3D printing. Mutually beneficial. Now I have more printers than he does. Oh, white collar nerds when they get together are dangerous. But, I do realize that we are very fortunate that we have so much in common. Our approaches to life, our hobbies, our interests, the way that we interact with people, we are just so in tune and aligned with one another. You know, like he's got tonight is his night to go do um, D&D, but they're doing a different game system right now. So like I'm when they're out of when everyone's out of the house, I film like as many videos back to back as I can because it's quiet. But he's out of the house this evening doing D&D, and I like D&D. I didn't know I was a D&D girly until we went to see that D&D movie. I've told that story. It was so funny. When the D&D movie came out, we were still dating, and we went to see it in Nashville. He came up to see me, and I took him to see it, and I had been a huge player of like Neverwinter Nights. Love a Forgotten Realms game. Love a Forgotten Realms video game. I love Neverwinter Nights. Hordes of the Underdark, and just the whole thing. Tide, like all into it. Played the original Baldur's Gate. Yeah, just yeah. Played Oblivion. I never knew those were D&D games. Never knew until we're like in the middle of that movie in the theater, and they're like, "We've got to get to Neverwinter," and I was like, "Neverwinter? We're going to the Underdark." Underdark. I look at him all like, is this D&D? I was like, do I play D&D? He's like, yeah, you play D&D. And I was like, oh. So that was just another thing that we had in common and I just didn't know. And now with our Aeronautica group, we do the RPG thing with our group, which I find so much fun. I think I'm going to do her Under Armour there in a bright silver. She's got to stand out from the rest. I got to put my hands up further when I'm painting. I'm learning, I'm learning, I'm learning. But yeah, so it turns out I was a D&D girly this whole time, but we are very fortunate that we have so much in common. And we have a lot of friends in common. We're very lucky that in meeting one another, it wasn't an issue of choose my group of friends or your group of friends. My friends are your friends are my friends. It's worked out very well, especially since he introduced me to the SCA. I have really been enjoying getting to know the folks in my local area. It's been a great way to make friends as an adult. And gaming is a great way to make friends as an adult. All right, I got all of this gold used that I want. I'm going to come in with my blue and make sure I have that where I want. Um, Azurman blue was the one that I used, so let me clean this brush. But it's been really nice. We've got a group of people we go to gaming conventions with. We have people that we go on SCA camping trips with. Like, it's honestly, it doesn't feel real sometimes. Our life is so splendid. Oh, there's a word that doesn't get used enough. Splendid. Need paper towel. Check my phone, see if anybody's called me. Nope. There we go. Paper towel is your best friend. When I airbrush, it's gloves. But for this kind of painting, let me put a little shaky shake on this. I'm going to go back and touch up some blue that I saw. And then we're going to look at the weapons. I'm excited about doing the weapons. I'm going to grab some of my neons for the weapons after I drop some white ink in some spaces. I was watching some videos on people doing really cool stuff with weapons and whatnot, and I'm going to try some things, and we're going to see if I can be successful. Mm. Maybe. If you wonder what I'm doing here, I'm touching the mouse on my computer so that, because I've got two cameras going, and sometimes it wants to like blink the screen and go into like screensaver mode, which I thought I turned that off, but whatever. I'm just making sure. Dog is knocked out. He had such a day. On my lunch break today, I took him. Well, actually, this video is going to be posted on Friday, but the day I'm filming this, on my lunch break, I took him to go get his nails trimmed and go meet the folks at the kennel that we use. So when we have to board him, he will not lose his bananas. Let's scoot this up a little bit to make me paint closer to the sun. I don't want that to be too much in y'all's way, but I need the light as well. There we go. All right, so I'm looking here to see where I need to pay attention to the blue and get it just in the right spots because I've had some red bleed over. It's easier to touch up the pants than it is the vest. There we go. We're looking good. But we are fortunate, and I recognize how fortunate we are. Everybody doesn't have, see, like there's like a little bit of the gold that came over from her knee cover. I must fix that. There we go. Oh, looks good. I am going to be doing my nails soon. I haven't done my nails in a while, but me and a girlfriend are going to go to a music festival together, a 90s music festival, and we're going to be the millennials that we are. We're elder. We're the same age. We're both elder millennials, and she and I get along so well. She and another friend of ours live in a different state, um, and my husband, that friend is his childhood best friend. So the weekend that I go and do music festival, he's gonna go with him and go do some SCA stuff. Like that's the kind of fun that we get to have as a nerd couple, and I do not take it for granted. Um, I know there's a lot of people out there that complain about their significant other. You'll never hear me complain about my husband. He's great. I mean, if somebody complains about me, yeah, checks out. She's a lot. Y'all pray for my husband. I'm a lot. I am a lot. But no, he is absolutely the most fantastic human being I have ever had the privilege of knowing. Whew, getting in these tiny crevices is nerve wracking. So I'm just touching up here. But when I'm done with work, I'm either going off to the gym or doing a hobby. And those hobbies range from tabletop gaming stuff up to, um, doing stuff for my SCA. Like, I have some armor I need to finish making, and I've got some new weapons I need to make. See, I'm looking to where I spilled over on that gold. I'm trying to make sure I get it right. Steady hand, steady hand. And that's what's great about contrast. It's so forgiving. Um, like I'm even seeing here, like there's some gold here that needs to be touched up. So I'm actually going to set her to the side to remind myself that I need to touch up the gold next. I don't think I'll need that on every one of these, the gold, but you know. And you also have to remember that Agrax and Nuln are your friend. They will save you. Let's see here. Is there any blue on her that needs touching up? I did pretty good on her headdress. I did really good on hers. I'm kind of proud of myself. Just a small swipe. Just a little bit. That Azurman blue is just so deep and glorious. It's a very rich blue. I have learned that, you know, because when I first started painting Warhammer, I was painting pieces individually, then gluing them together. Your figure's just not going to be as solid if you do that. Now, to be fair, the first group that I painted, I very rarely play with. They are beautiful. They are word bearers. They're a word bearers kill team. They are gorgeous. Um, Took my sweet time painting those. Um, but when you build the figure first, then paint, sometimes there may be areas that you can't get your brush into, like in here in the leg. Yeah, trying to make sure I get the camera angle right, where y'all can see it. But inside there, like her legs in there, I can't really get the brush in there without getting paint on something else. But it honestly looks like a shadow, you know, when I hold it up and look at it like this. So no biggie. I've learned to let go of a few things. Of course, if I really do decide that I'm going to do a painting for um, a competition, a real competition like Golden Demon, then I will have to pay attention to stuff like that because they're gonna be real judgy, which is kind of the point. Um, but for stuff like this, like that is shadow now, and it's okay. Their faces will be the last thing that I do. This is a touch up in weapons day. Got it. This one, some of her veil actually was coming down further than I realized when I did my first round of painting. So I'm just coming in and making sure I get that piece of veil painted. And again, this is just a zero brush, and it's doing the job pretty well. I'm very happy with it. And I love how the contrast paint gives their leggings and stuff kind of a blue jeans kind of look to them. Super happy with that. Yep, that looks good. Who's next? You. Not all of them need a touch up, but I'm just making sure. It's the little things. I'm really hoping that my vision for these weapons, that I have learned enough to actually do it. We're going to find out. But you know, it's one project at a time. One project at a time. Actually, no, I'm going to do, I am going to agrax those. I don't think I need to go back and do any fill in. The agrax will do it. Known oil and agrax? What mistake? What mistakes did you make? You didn't make any mistakes. Known oil that heifer. I mean, and just one thing I've learned too, and I would love to say this is all my original thought. It's not, because she's not a natural artist. Um, Agrax good on like your golds, your brasses. Known oil really good on like your silvery colors. Um, they provide really good depth and contrast on those. That had a big old glob of gold where I didn't want it. I must have been getting tired at the end of these. Checking out the pants. She's one of the ones that has her legs crossed. Heifer. So I can't really get in there the way that I want to. Let's see if she has any mistakes that I need to correct. She looks pretty good, actually. Are you perfect? Oh, no, you're not perfect. Only the Emperor is perfect. I have so much to read. I'm behind on my Warhammer reading. But, adulthood. I wouldn't be so behind if I hadn't been working on my master's degree. The time that I would probably spend, like, getting into books, I am spending writing papers, which actually put me behind on painting and stuff I wanted to do because school. Got to do it. I think I got hers the way I want it. Yeah, she's good. She's good. Okay, so now I'm going to start working on these weapons. And I actually am going to pull out a small brush. This is a good application for a small brush. So let me clean this and set it over to dry. Always take good care of your brushes. All right, we're going to set that to dry. Okay, now, fingers crossed. What is... I thought that was over here somewhere. I have a collection of little bitty brushes. I do need... Nope, that is the wrong white ink. That's not what I want. White ink, white ink, white ink. I don't want I have metallic inks from De La Roni, but I'm not using it. It's right in front of me. Okay, so white ink. And where are... I thought I took those out of the bag. I have this really great little brush kit that has a good assortment of different brush sizes, but I don't see it anywhere. Huh, did I put it over here? Nope, it's over there. Do any of these have a small tip? Small enough? Oh, there's one with a small enough tip here. Okay. All right. Actually, this one. I need the longer one. I have to figure out where that little brush kit went. I've had it for a while, and I take very good care of it. Okay, so I'm going to shake the ink. Even ink I shake. Pigments settle. The shakers are one of your best friends. Pigments settle. Okay, so how am I going to corral my ink? I'm so glad you asked. Check this out. So these are those little Pop-It toys. I just need a drop of ink. I don't need a ton. Boop. That'll hold my ink. These are silicone. They're everywhere. I've picked them up at multiple different stores, but that's where my ink is going to live while I do this. Okay, so concentrating on weapons. So for neons to show up really well, which I want a lot of boldness in their weapons, you got to put white under it. Like the metallics do really good with black under them. I'm going to be dry brushing metallic finishes on their weapons, and I'm actually moving these gals out the way because I need to bring my hands up further to be steady while I do this. I'm going to move them over here. There we go. So I'm going to take just little drops of ink and stick them in the recesses. That way when I put the neon pigment in, it will stand out better than if it just went on black. And then I'll dry brush on top to get the high ridges. See that? Oh, it's the little things, I swear. Nerve-wracking. Nerve-wracking. I've seen people who can do this so fast, but, it's muscle memory. But I'm sure when people see me do martial arts or any kind of fighting sport, they wonder how I can do it as well as I do. That's what happens when you practice something for 30 years. People, it's so funny. People, when you do a martial art, they always ask you a lot, like about the Jet Lis and the Bruce Lees. Are you as good as them? Obviously not. Martial arts is their job. you know, Tony Jaa, Jet Li, Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, Michelle Yeoh, Ji Jiang. Like, this is what they do. Gong Li, I love me some Gong Li. She's awesome. But, like, this is what they do all day, every day. In between my martial practice, even though I'm not to horn toot too much, I am pretty good. I enjoy it. I've practiced for a long time, not at this very second because she's had knee surgery. I'll get back into practicing once I'm healed up. You do get good at stuff when you do it over time. But the more time you can devote, the better you're going to be. Like, don't ask people if they could fight Jet Li. No, I wouldn't care if Jet Li was 97 years old. Couldn't do it. No, he'd kill us all. um, but there are painters like that. Sometimes I have to remember when I'm watching people who are so skilled and can paint so fast, and it seems like everything they do um, is just beautiful. Like one of my viewers, we've actually become decent online friends, Twisted Nerves. He paints a lot, and he posts a lot in my Discord, and his stuff is gorgeous. He does really good on the glow effects for weapons, like getting that or making it look like light is coming from within. He can do that with paint, and I'm just always like, when I see those things. Like, how did you do that? I could never. But it's practice. Some of the people that I paint with locally, they started painting when they were kids. They have jobs and stuff like I do, but they're as good as they are because they have been doing this kind of painting for as long as I've done martial arts. Um, like one of my friends actually on the side does commissions for people. I could never paint on a schedule. Couldn't do it. Couldn't be me. Don't ask. Now, will I do it for fun and give stuff away? Yes. Will I ever take paid commissions? Probably not. Nope, nope, nope. Nope. No, 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 no. But it's cool when you see that increase in skill. It feels good too. I know one of the things I've always enjoyed about martial practice is seeing people's faces when they get something. I'll never forget the first time I did a roundhouse spinning wheel kick, and it actually looked like a roundhouse spinning wheel kick. And then a spinning wheel kick became a thing for a long time until my knee started going out. Um, Now I side kick mostly, but once this knee heals up, I'll be able to spin kick again. Like jump kicks are something I don't do a lot of. It's not that I can't do them, it's just that physically with a bum knee kind of sucks. Who else needs some of this? But, as you're going along in your own journey, just remember, everyone's at a different place. There are great communities everywhere. Find you people that are positive to do hobbies with. I promise you they exist. And if you're upset that there aren't people to do your hobby with, um, make sure that you are creating an environment that is welcoming, that people want to return to. Be what you need. Be the change you wish to see in the world. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. The message couldn't be any clearer. I just hit this figure on my light here, and I'm so glad I didn't glue them together after painting because she would have exploded. Want to make the world a better place? Just look at yourself. Change. I'm done. Na, 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 na. Every time I say I'm done, my husband looks at me and goes, "Are you?" And then I continue. Pray for him. he he has to put up with a lot. Doing good here. Now tell me how my camera's doing too. I do have a remote for this camera where I can let it zoom in more. I think I'll do that next time so y'all can see even more detail of what I'm painting. But I'm enjoying this. I'm trying to remember what order. I'm trying to stack these in an order. That way when I go back to add the color, the furthest away will be dry. I'm trying to decide what I want to do in here. I think that's going to get dry brushed. This isn't going to stay yellow. Another color is going on top of that. That was just the first color. Oh, look at these tassels hanging off here. Should I have made those gold? I'm going to think about it. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to drop a glow down in the back of this, and I think I am because I think it'll look cool. So, in with the ink. So, the other thing I like about ink is it flows a lot like contrast. So, when you need to cover a tight area like this, once you get that drop in there, the drop will kind of do the work for you. This is when a thin brush matters because you're getting into a very tight space. And a steady hand. It doesn't matter how small the brush is if your hands won't let you do it. That's when you paint bigger stuff. Or you find a friend. I know somebody who can airbrush stuff this small. He does not use a hairbrush at all. And I don't know how. I'm okay with an airbrush. I'm getting better with one. I bought a really nice airbrush at Adepticon this year. Will I buy another one next year? Probably. It's where they're all there, and I can experience them. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Yeah, I'm gonna put a glow back in there. That's gonna be good. I'm gonna like that. My dog is knocked out. Like he worked all day. He would usually be in here, but he just must be good and tired. So I think that's fire coming out of there. Oh, this is going to be my greatest challenge. Can I make that fire look like fire? We're going to find out. I'll be dry brushing the outside of the scepter, but this inside is obviously where the glow is coming from. Can she do it? Ooh, hoo, 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 hoo. We're going to find out. I don't know if I'm that great, but we're going to try. But you know what? You don't know until you try. I didn't know I could do a roundhouse kick spinning wheel kick until I did it. I didn't know I could do a jump turnaround roundhouse until I did it. Takes a lot of practice. That is one thing I'm looking forward to being able to do again, are jump spinning kicks. Haven't been able to do those confidently for a few years now, honestly. Because of my knee. But that is going to change here in a few weeks. And I'm training up for, I gotta get back in the gym here once my physical therapy season wraps up. I gotta get back in the gym. I gotta start training for the Meridian Grand Tournament. I am in the Kingdom of Meridies for the SCA. And every year they have a huge tournament. It's not like Crown Tournament or anything, but it's where all the fighters come together. Who's calling me? I'm getting about 35 spam calls a day, and I don't know why. Somebody's gotten a hold of my phone number. Looking good. But MGT is going to be a lot of fun. It's a whole day of pretty intense fighting, but it's a good chance to fight a lot of people from a lot of different places. It's a good place to talk to more experienced fighters in this style of combat. Because, I've been doing Taekwondo for 30 years. I haven't been doing SCA fighting for 30 years. I've really only been a full year into SCA fighting because it takes such a long time to get your fighting kit together. It's not the easiest kit for fighting to make happen. I did this one already. Who else? I'm looking for the guns and stuff. See, this is a chainsword. I love a chainsword. That's like my favorite weapon. In Space Marine 2 is the chainsword. If you've watched me play Space Marine 2, you know she likes to pull the sword out. Which I'm going to play some Space Marine 2 this week. Probably while my husband is at D&D. Because, again, the house is quiet. That's looking great. One of the things I have appreciated about this knee surgery recovery process is that I've had time to sit and do projects. I have some Legos I want to build. Like, I am very much a busybody, go out, do all the things all the time kind of person. Like, if I can be out doing the most, I want to be out doing the most. But when you've had a joint replacement, which I didn't know this, your body is adapting and rejecting it at the same time. That's why the healing process is so intense, because they put titanium in my knee. I didn't have a full replacement; it was a partial. But whatever they replace, everything around it is going to swell And, the pain isn't so much sometimes from the surgery itself, it's from your body trying to make sense of this new thing that's in there. So, forcing myself to sit down by painting has been very good for me because I am always doing something. Sometimes my physical therapist just looks at me and she's like, "You need to have several seats." And I'm like, "Yes, ma'am. I will have a seat." All right, here's one. Where can I put? This gun's going to be more plain than the rest. Ooh, but this. Oh, she's got a skull at the end of this that probably needs to be gold. Yes, we're going to make that gold. I'm going to set that over here. Didn't I say I was going to make something else gold? Yeah, the tassels on this. So I'm going to bring the gold back out for a second before I go into the next. And this has tassels on it too that need to be gold. So I'm going to make these gold. Set these over here. Who else has a weapon that I can neon up? This one won't really lend itself to it naturally. This has gold on it for tassels. Yep, this one I can be able to do that. I do love with the inks that there's an eyedropper, because you can get exactly as much as you want and not waste anything. Although this is not expensive ink I'm using, everything does not have to be expensive. There are less expensive options of everything out there, so don't let anyone talk you into always having to do the most expensive way. Now look, if you're painting licensed models, the models themselves are pricey. This Novitiate Kill Team, I think, was where we got it was $35. I don't know if that's MSRP though. And I think it was $35 because they were clearing it out, honestly. Um, and sometimes when you're buying stuff that's older or they're not going to do as much anymore, you can get a good deal on it. So keep your eye out for that. And remember, one page rules exist. OPR. What thou canst achieve in Warhammer, play OPR. Then you can use whatever figures you want from whatever property. Right, Charlie? He's a good boy. He's my handsome. Did I wake you up? You can go back to sleep. Let's put some gold on these things, and I'm going to drop some neon in. Then I'll have to let that dry before I can do the dry brushing. Let's put it here. Yeah, give me some feedback. Let me know what you think about this kind of video and the style of video. I'm getting better at camera quality and angles and stuff like that. I don't even know why it matters to me so much because I don't pay a single bill with YouTube. My channel is monetized. I'm not going to pretend that it's not. It is. But YouTube does not cover any bills in the otaku household. My dog just went in the room where all his treats are on the floor. He's a chewer. I do it for the love of the game. I do it because it's fun. And, literally no other reasons. I have fun doing this. If stuff isn't fun, I don't do it. If I don't like something, I'm not going to do it. I've always been that way. Hey, babies. Oh, this is my baby. This is my baby. Say hi to the Charlie. He's a good boy. He's so handsome. He's the most handsome. Is Charlie the most handsome? Yes, he is. Don't lick paint. This is why we take our own paintbrushes to the shop, because they end up on our mouths all the time. Okay, go on. Good boy. He's so soft. He is so soft. He is so cuddly. His life's ambition is to be on the couch. Once my knee heals up, I'll be able to take him for walks again. I kind of scheduled my knee surgery for when I did on purpose because it's the hottest time of the year. And I've had, I don't have Sammy anymore, but when I had Sammy, every year, once it got to about this time, living in the South, we didn't do walks on concrete anymore. You can go in the backyard. When the sun goes down, we might go to a greenway or something, or a dog park that's all grass, but I'm not putting his paws on concrete when it's this hot, and he does not seem to mind with his 80 pounds. And keeping him cut down. We usually take him down to a 9, 8 or 9. He came to us at a 10, which I thought was a little bit too short because dogs need some kind of hair to keep them from getting sunburnt. But keeping him as short is reasonable so that he does not overheat, but he is a big, galoopy, cuddly dog. All he wants to do is cuddle. That's it. He don't want to do anything else. Well, he wants to eat. He's an eater. He does like his food, but he wants all the attention all the time. Now he's laying in the door of my husband's office. It does feel good to up your skills. Like even watching here a little thing like this, like putting the gold on these tassels, like how much steadier my hand has become. Like it's encouraging. That's why I try to be encouraging in hobbies. Like my favorite thing to do is encourage people. I don't know if you picked up on that. Because, you know, especially when you're around people who are really good at stuff, it's like, I'll never be like that. But, you know, everybody improves on all things in their own time. And I'm pretty happy with how this is coming out. Other side. Now I'm going to grab some neon. And once I do the neon, I'm going to have to leave it to dry. Because I can't do the dry brushing I want to do with stuff drying on the models. Because if I accidentally go over it. So the next time you see these girls, we'll be getting to the last stages of finishing them. Because I also need to, I might do the top coat of their faces too, because we're going to get close to FaceTime. There we go. That looks good. Okay. Oh, should this at the top be gold? It should. Thank you for saying so. You're right. I almost made a grave mistake. Ooh, I should watch Grave Encounters. I'm taking my hair down tomorrow night after we come home. I'm getting new braids next week. And I always watch horror movies while I get my braids taken down. Like, you got your old comfort movies you like to watch. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've watched Hill House LLC. Too many. Love it. It's one of my favorites. She is a found footage girly. Found footage and zombies. But I found this new zombie movie that's about this guy who is like a Muay Thai fighter, and his girlfriend like works in a hospital or something, and like he Muay Thai fights his way through the zombies to save this girl. So that's where I'm at. Okay, so I'm going to neon the weapons, and then I'm going to what's it called? Do the first pigment on their faces. Where is my? I thought I had a brown ink. Yellow orange. There it is. It's way over here. Yep, burnt umber. I'm gonna put the burnt umber in with, oh, I didn't shake that. I'll put the burnt umber in with the white so it's not too dark. You're making me look like you. Of course I am. I'm my best reference for everything. But I am going to horror movie out tomorrow while I take my hair down. That is the way that I live my life. One face at a time. I'm going to do the faces first. And then come back and work on the weapons. I'm trying to decide like what their underglow should be. I'm thinking I've got this really great yellow. I've also got what is it called here? A Hexwraith Flame. This is Bad Moon Yellow. And I've got Doomfire Magenta. But I also have full neons. I have the AK neon liquid pigments. I picked those up at Adepticon a couple of years ago. And I don't use them all the time, so they're in really good condition. I'll figure that out as I do their faces. Let me mix. So I put my ink over here, my little pad. And it's white with burnt umber. I want to make it the color of me. Yeah, I think I about got it, actually. First try? I'm going to paint this on some paper towel to see if it's the color I think it is. It is! Yay! Alright, let's do it. Let's paint their faces. I'm going to be really excited to finish these ladies. Make sure my camera doesn't misbehave on me. Ooh, this video getting long. Like I ain't got other stuff to do today. I do. Tonight. I even did the slap chop buildup on their faces, which should help with the shadows and whatnot. So, slap chopping, I'm telling you. My husband taught me how to slap chop. I did watch a couple of videos as well, because when he first explained this theory, it didn't make any sense to me. My husband's an engineer, and sometimes he explains things the way engineers explain them. I was an English major. But having someone who's experienced in certain techniques sitting next to me, once I start to understand, I can ask him questions and stuff, and I really appreciate that. Yeah, I'll take it. I'm using the ink for this instead of the contrast, just so I don't lose detail in their faces, but I'm still getting that impression of face color. Yeah. There we go. And these might take 2 coats to get the face exactly the way I want. So once I get to one end, I might start over. Let's see here. Next one. Do 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 do. This is kind of great if this format works out, because I've got Gundams to build. I have Legos to build, which I could have built a lot of them already. But, why not build them on the channel? But I really couldn't figure out how to get the camera to do what I wanted. And now that I have this figured out, yeah, way more things to do. I have like 5 Transformer Gundam style models to build. There's a lot. But this is great. I'm enjoying myself. I do appreciate in the lore of Warhammer that they, with the Cadians, the Imperial Guard, and the Sororita, that they have given space for actual humans. I think in terms of, you can, because everybody picks the force they want to fight. If you play the tabletop game, everybody picks a force, whether it's a Space Marine Legion, Sororitas, Adeptus Custodes, Imperial Guard, Cadians, whatever. Everybody picks who they want to be. And sometimes you don't want to be a overpowered demigod, superhuman, barely human. Um, it's good to see that they put in here consideration for people just being regular people. Everyone's not going to be a superhero. It's easy to pay attention to the people that seem to be doing the greatest amongst us, but the truth of the matter is, the bulk of the work in the Imperium of Mankind is being carried out by everyday citizens. I think that's some of the big lesson you can take away from Warhammer literature is, yeah, the Primarchs, the Emperor, look at these gods among men. The Space Marines, standing so much taller than a regular human ever could, so much stronger, so much more capable. Um, but most of what's happening is happening with humans, regular humans. And I think that is why I love the Emperor's Children, specifically Fulgrim, so much, is before he turned, his whole thing was, we're protecting humans, we're protecting humanity, we're protecting, if we're not fighting for the arts and what humans make, why are we even doing any of this? Why? Fulgrim had a vision for what he wanted to do and be after the crusade was over. He was going to retire back to his home planet, kick his feet up, drink wine, and paint. Fulgrim was going to set up an art commune. And that was never going to happen. The Emperor was probably going to dispose. I mean, you don't hear about the Thunder Warriors anymore, do you? Where'd they go? um, but he was going to dispose of the Space Marines eventually, because they are not human. They're tools. Even the Primarchs, even though the Primarchs are his sons, they're still tools. And once you don't need a tool anymore, if it's not going to have a future application, you get rid of it. And, the Primarchs that turned, a lot of them turned, not all, some of them turned just because, Angron, I get it. But some of them turned because he's going to have no use for us, and I like having a life. And, so much of what's going on in the Imperium of Mankind, in the Warhammer universe, are just humans trying to live their lives and nothing else. They're just trying to get by day to day. They're just trying to make it Monday through Sunday. That's it. And that's so much of what even our world today is. We always think the people that matter the most are the people who are on the news or the people who have the most money. And when everything that happens because there's somebody out there working hard. The clothes that I'm wearing, the paints that I'm painting with, the computer that I'm using, um, my dog going to get his nails clipped today. There are people out there who do all of this work. And when, the fast food restaurant that you like to go to, my favorite taco stand, um, your phone service working, all of that is because there are people working. And without all of those people, none of it happens. And that includes you. And that's one of the things I just love about this lore is yes, the big central thing is it's the grimdark future, but there really is a place for everyone in the Warhammer universe. It is such a great representation of the great and the small, all all have a place before the golden throne. All have a purpose, and everyone's just out there trying to live their regular lives. As much as I love the lore, there's a part of me that thinks about what do they do in Warhammer when the war is over? Granted, the war is never going to be over. It's called Warhammer, not Peace Hammer. It's not called Peace Paintbrush. So there'll always be war. But could there, in some fictitious version of the lore that's already fictitious, so that's an oxymoron, could there be a time where the galaxy's not at war? There are some countries on our planet right now, today, that there are people alive who've never experienced their country not at war. They've never experienced peace. They've never experienced just going to work, going to school, going to take the kids to soccer practice, or just going out with friends. They've never had that. Do the people of the Imperium, they've been at war for thousands of years against somebody somewhere all the time. And think about all those worlds that were just hanging out before the Emperor even showed up. They were living their best lives. Then the golden god came from the sky and said, "Follow me, and I will make you war." Do they dream of peace? And that is why I rock with Fulgrim. As far as I've seen, there may be others. I mean, I don't know everything about Warhammer. I know the most about the Primarchs I care about, obviously, and their legions. But is there, other than Fulgrim, I don't know of, maybe Lorgar to an extent, but I really don't know of another Primarch who was interested in life after the war, of what things were going to be like when fighting was no longer necessary. And one of the things that happens throughout the Horus Heresy is that confrontation over and over for the Space Marines of, if not war, what is our purpose? And some of the Space Marine legions, and still, even though they're legions, they're still individuals, some of the legionaries are fine with their purpose being fulfilled and them being no more. They're totally okay with it. There are some who are not, and I can't say that I blame them. It's just interesting. Once their purpose is fulfilled, what happens? Does there ever come a point in this great galaxy that the war in Warhammer isn't a war anymore? I don't know. I'm going to set this over here because that's for another project. So, back to these weapons. So, let me grab, it's my Artist Opus dry brushes. I'm going to set these over here because I'm about to use this on another project this evening. Let's see here. Nope, liquid pigments are in here. But sorry, moving cords. I need to do some cord management. I need this to open. Come here. My portable paint station. My portable paint studio. Okay, that is where I keep my liquid pigments. There they are. Haha. AK liquid pigments. Let's decide what we want to use. Oh, that, not the blue. Okay, there it is. I want the orange and the red. Maybe the green. Green. And no. Ooh, that might be good. Let's go. Where is the red? That's purple. Is this Doomfire red? Nope, that's pink fleur. I know pink works for everything, but not this. Red flower. Okay. All right. So colors. So obviously these need to be shaken, but we've got light orange, orange fleur, red fleur, and green fleur. So let's get, where's my driest gun? Let's get this one. Yeah. Okay, that's the first one I did. So I need the itty bitty brush back. Swap to this one, because I just want this to go in the right spots. So where is my color wheel? Because she doesn't know color theory at all. Not even a little. So these guys are in the gold blue range. So they're here. I could actually probably get away with the yellow and green. Okay. So I'm going to put this on the shaker. I'm not even going to try to shake that manually. Won't work. I have these as well that I was thinking about, but I feel like I want to be more bombastic with the color. Far more bombastic. Bombastic side-eye. Okay. Charles. Son must have come in the house. Come here, baby. Charlie. Well, go say hi. Charles. There we go. Charlie. I know y'all can hear him. I see my mic audio go woo, woo. He's louder than me. Charles. Come here, baby. Did you bark? Did you make him leave the house, his house? Okay, so I'm only going to be able to do the first part of this because it's going to have to dry before I do anything else. But let's see. So here's the before. All right. Let's drop it in. The liquid pigments spread, so a little goes a long way. Ooh. There we go. Got it. Needed that drop to actually get in there. Oh, it did it on both sides. Did it too much. I hear you. I hear you, Charles. Good boy. It's supposed to rain today, but it hasn't. It's probably going to rain at the most inopportune moment. There we go. Alright, so it's got that charged yellow look in it. Yeah? Yeah? Okay. And then I'll dry brush over to get like the ridges and stuff. I think I'm going to go with orange at the tip, so I'm going to set this over here and do the next one who has a weapon like this. This is the one that's fire. I think I'm going to go orange and red in that, so when I do the next orange, I'll grab her. So let me set her here. I think I'm going to do this one red. Who else has some white in there that I need to... Oh, hers. Okay, just a drop. And it spreads. It's kind of magical how it spreads. There we go. Okay, I'm getting better at this. I'm getting better at it. That will need the next color. Who else has one? Let's see. Who else? Who else? Who else? That's just going to be the gun tip for her. Okay. All right. Let's... Okay. All right. We're doing it. It's looking good. Okay. I know. So much for just a little bit of paint. But I gotta make sure I get all the old paint off of this to do the next color. Oh, it's pouring now. Looking out the window. You want to see something great? Look what my husband did for me. 'Cause I'm on a cane right now, recovering from surgery. It's sparkly. Spray paint. Okay, so now I need orange fleur. It's the little things. Wow, these girls are almost done. I can't believe it. It'll just be the dry brushing on them next and whatever I decide. Oh, I haven't used this color yet. That is unopened. I hope our power doesn't go out or flicker because I have a print going right now. All right. Let's come back over here and oops, put this where you can see it. All right. Orange fleur. Looking good. Steady hand, steady hand. It was supposed to rain like 2 hours ago. Okay. It's subtle, but yeah, okay. All right, so we're good with her. Can't do anything else on hers until that dries. Can't come back and do dry brushing until all this dries because I'll scrape wet paint off. Oh, yeah. Bold, bold, bold. Once I do the dry brushing, that glow from within is going to look a whole lot better. I'm glad I put the white down first because that's making this pop out way more. The scepter is going to take a little bit more work to get it where I want it. All right, that one's done. Who's next? Not you. Not you. You've got whips. Those are getting dry brushed. This one. Come on. Trying to find that right angle. And make sure I don't leave. Yeah. Happy with that. It's the little things, all right? Look at that. Just doing the tip of the gun. Yeah. Loving it. All right. Basing some orange in here. I'm going to finish the flames out in red, but let's drop that orange in there. When I dry brush over this, it's going to be magnificent. Oh my God, look at that. That's so fun. The little orange at the base. I think he was barking at the thunder. I think he heard the thunder before I did. He got big dog bark. Oh my God, look how fun that is. Yes. Oh, that's fun. I love that. Love. This is going to get red and orange on the teeth here. So I'm going to start with the base being orange, and then I'm going to do the teeth. I always put blood on the ends of my swords. I don't care who they are. Will this chainsaw get blood on it? Yes. Yes, it will. I cannot help myself. I'm that way. I got a little bit where I didn't mean to. Oh. Wipe that off. That's another reason to wear an apron. You can use to wipe stuff off. Got it. Yeah. Oh, a little bit up here didn't get any. Ah, actually, why don't I do that? Now that I've done it by accident, doing it on purpose looks kind of great. We'll come back over the red later. Or gold. Ooh, what if I dry brush gold on top of this orange? Huh. I do like all the little fleur-de-lis everywhere. Okay. The start of a chainsword. And I was gonna go out before I started gaming and tie some vines that have fallen, but that appears to not be what I'm gonna do now. I guess I'll paint some more. All right, that's all the gun barrel tips done. So these girls are going to be set to the side and dry. I'm going to go work on one of my 3D printers and then come back and do some more painting. So tell me what y'all think about this format, because there's a few more videos like this that are coming out, but I wanted to give you a taste of what it's like. A couple of them are lower definition than I intended because I didn't realize how hard my graphics card was working when I was plugged into my docking station in my office. But I realize that now, and it does so much better when I'm not plugged in. So you'll see more. But until then, I'm going to go ahead and like turn things off because it's about to get stormy. So I'm going to go turn my attention to other things. But in the meantime, please like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord if you made it. Oh my God, 90 minutes. And I will see you in the next one.